54% of mattress customers want to start their journey in a store. Mm-hmm. So it is pertinent to be omnichannel in that sense to get things started, because you're literally missing half of your audience. And I thought like, oh, organic mattresses, baby mattresses, this is going to be great. And, and you pull the curtain away and there are 100 different chemicals that go inside of a mattress.
Wow.
I cannot go to the standard corporate world. I'm going to die or wither and die.
Yeah.
There are about 50,000 mattresses that get thrown away almost every single day. Oh. And it's 18.2 million every single year. And that number keeps growing. It's probably, and that was a couple years ago, it's probably closer to like 20 million at this point. Our pillow business has actually grown by 300% in the last 2 years, just because we've put more offerings out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm very glad we came to the end result of what a good pillow was and what wasn't, because I had 47 pillow prototypes in my house at one time. The two is like, when I took over the helm entirely, I mean, I've been here for 11 years. When I took over everything 4 years ago, I made it a big, strong point to focus on doing good in the world. Mm-hmm. And it resonates well with our employees. I feel great about it. And our customers, just like, that's who they want to give their money to. It's who I want to give my money to. Mm-hmm. And it pays off.
You're listening to the Retail Razor Show, where your expert hosts and their guests cut through the clutter in retail and retail tech.
Welcome to Season 5, Episode 5 of the Retail Razor Show, the original podcast in the expanding Retail Razor Podcast Network, where we cut through the clutter to give you sharp insights on what's happening in retail today and tomorrow. I'm Ricardo Belmar.
And I'm Casey Golden. Welcome, Retail Razor fans, to retail's favorite podcast and the only podcast in the top 10 all-time indie management podcast charts on Good Pods, where we get real about what's driving the future of retail.
So Casey, let me ask you, how does it feel now that we have 4 shows in the podcast network? Did you think we'd make it to this many?
No, I have to say I'm impressed. We made it. We've done it, let alone one. Even though 2 of the shows are in between seasons right now, we're really working hard to get those new seasons up and running. It feels like quite an accomplishment for us.
Yeah, that's right. And for those listeners and viewers who haven't checked out the Blade to Greatness podcast for the best leadership skills and career tips you could ever ask for in retail, straight from the best leaders in the business, and Data Blades, where you'll get deep practical insights into customer experience tactics you can use based on real-world research, then you owe it to yourself to give them both a try. Each episode is usually less than 15 minutes, so it's a quick hit. And now is the best time to get caught up on Season 1 before we launch Season 2 for both of these.
And of course, if you haven't heard our newest show yet, Retail Transformers, then you're in for a treat and absolutely need to smash that subscribe button.
Well, maybe not right now since they're listening to this show, but right after you've listened to this show. But love the enthusiasm, though.
I'm quite partial to the Retail Transformers, as you know. How much I love these candid conversations with people driving real transformation in retail. Change makers, innovators, and disruptors who are reshaping the industry from the inside out. If you're passionate about innovation, leadership, and the future of commerce, Retail Transformers is the podcast for you.
100%. If you haven't checked out Retail Transformers, just like Casey said, go check it out. Listen to the trailer, jump into the premiere episode. It's a real treat, where we brought back our original Retail Transformer from way back in Season 1 of the show, April Sobral. So go check that out. And then hopefully you'll feel like giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Good Pods, and maybe drop a review, no matter how brief, just to let us know how much you loved it, or if you want to let us know what you'd like to see us talk about next. Either way, it helps us grow the show and reach more people. And we are all about bringing knowledge and sharp insights to as many people as we can in retail.
And don't forget our YouTube audience. If you're watching us on YouTube and like the show, please hit that subscribe button and smash that bell if you haven't already. Give us a like and drop a comment. We do really want to hear from you.
Absolutely. You said it. So let's talk about today's guest. It's really special for us when brands reach out to us and want to share their stories. And this is an amazing example of that. We've got such a great brand leader from a truly pioneering brand in certified organic mattresses and bedding.
And the conversation is even more valuable when it's with a brand on a mission to make the world better. And what could be more important than the quality of our sleep?
Cannot argue with that. So the brand we're talking about is Naturepedic, the leading organic mattress brand that works to keep us and our children safe by removing harmful chemicals from mattresses and bedding products and educating new parents on the importance of sleep safety.
And to guide us on this amazing sustainability journey is Naturepedic's Chief Growth Officer, Arin Schultz. As the lead on all Naturepedic marketing efforts, Arin develops and implements strategies that support the company's business growth, customer retention, product innovation, consumer education initiatives, and sustainability goals.
I love this conversation. Arin has so much passion for the brand's purpose and mission. We talk about what brought him to the brand and not just go through a list of accomplishments growing the brand to the powerhouse it's become, but starting from its early direct-to-consumer days to opening stores and so much more. We get into more than just the marketing tactics. Arin really helps us understand why the mission matters, why being organic isn't just a gimmick or a tactic. It's fundamental to the mission of healthier sleep and healthier lives that really matters and drives the brand.
Yeah, I appreciate meaningful conversations on sustainability and the real impact of commerce on our environment. Arin does a great job walking through what's real and what's just words.
Yeah, we all know that greenwashing has become a real problem in the market where it's getting harder and harder to see through the hype and understand the real value of brands like this. And Arin does a fantastic job helping us understand the dangers of harmful chemicals or pervasive presence in households across the globe. It really speaks to the brand's mission and how they're achieving it. By the end of the conversation, I'm pretty much ready to buy a new mattress. So get ready, everyone. You're going to be so tempted and you will absolutely know why.
It's always special when we get to talk to someone that genuinely loves what they do, and with a brand behind them that's equally authentic and committed to making a meaningful impact. This episode is a gem, so let's get straight to our conversation with Arin Schultz, Chief Growth Officer at Naturepedic. Welcome to the show, Arin. We're so excited to have you here today.
Very excited to be here today.
Well, we're excited to have you here to talk about your retail journey, the amazing growth story behind the Naturepedic brand. So maybe to start us off here, Arin, why don't you give us a quick background for both yourself and Naturepedic?
Yeah, I've been here for going on 11 years this September, and I'm slightly biased, but it's probably the best place that I've ever worked for. It's a great company, and it stands for a lot. And I'm probably they're gonna have to drag me out of here. So I'm gonna retire here one day, hopefully, and we just get to do really fun and exciting things and learn a little bit more. And it's nice to come to work and know that we're making a little bit of a difference. And that's what Naturepedic has always stood for. I mean, we are, as we get bigger, we're in our 22nd year of business, but every year, the amount of money that we give away as a company in terms of charitable organizations and around the environment and the homeless population to foster kids to just general education about what we do is phenomenal. And I think that's why everyone's very passionate about Naturepedic here.
Well, I don't think a founder could want any more than what you've said about the company to be said. That's every business owner's dream, right? So looking at Naturepedic's founder, Barry, and his journey, what brought him into the world of organic sleep products and ultimately building Naturepedic?
Well, we used to tell the story from almost the inception of when Barry had the idea for organic mattresses. But in the last few years, I've started to tell the story a little bit farther down the line. And for those who don't know, we're a Cleveland-based company, and there's a river that runs through downtown Cleveland called the Cuyahoga River. And through the 60s, Lake Erie was dying through the industrial age and everything. They just kept dumping gobs and gobs of chemicals into that river, and it flows right into the Lake Erie. And in 1969, that river caught on fire. Water does not catch on fire.
Yeah. That doesn't happen every day.
The flames got as high as 5 stories. That's how high that fire was. And Barry was going to college in Cleveland, and he was an environmental engineer. And it just had this. He always had a tie to the environment in general, but it was just kind of this spark of him wanting to make the world a little bit better of a place. And I've met some people, myself included, some very driven people, and Barry has one singular focus, and that is trying to get chemicals taken out of products. Not even just mattresses. They did a lot of soil testing in and around the Cleveland area for many years. Him and his wife, Reggie, had their own other business before Naturepedic, and really wanted to make sure that like parks were safe for children and more buildings were being made, that they were to code and all that stuff. And Barry and his wife, actually, you wouldn't notice by looking at them, but they're kind of like old hippies. They started the first organic co-op in Cleveland in the 1970s. And so, cut to 2002. Barry and Reggie, his wife, were about to have their first grandchild, and Reggie sent Barry to the store to go buy a crib mattress. It was the last crib or big gift they had to get for their first grandchild, and we're very lucky that she did. And Barry's very, like I said, very, very analytical. I mean, we have 3 veritable libraries here in our factories of nothing but textbooks and papers, and we actually have an in-house chemist that does a lot of research for us as a company and for Barry too, to kind of do, what's going on in the industry, what's going on just at the world at large when it comes to chemicals. And so Barry's flipping over law tags and he's reading labels, and he knows exactly what chemicals are being used to make those materials for these crib mattresses. And he was absolutely appalled. And just really how harmful they are. And he came home empty-handed, and he told his wife, Reggie, that my grandfather slept on a pile of hay. And he's like, I'd be more than happy to have my grandchild do that versus what that alternative is. So he got together with his 2 sons, Jeff and Jason, and he had this idea. He's like, I know we can do better. So about 6 months later, they had their first prototype in Barry's garage. And we're off to the races. And 22 years later, from this little idea in Barry's garage, and now we've got 30 Naturepedic stores and over 170 employees, and we're having some of our best years ever. And it's really, even after 22 years, it's a very exciting time to be here. And it's all because of that one idea that Barry had. So we're very lucky for that respect.
It's a great story.
Yeah, amazing story. So you've been overseeing all this growth in what's, I guess, a niche category, organic mattresses, for a long time now. And as you said, it's 22 years later. Business is doing well, growing. I think when we spoke before, we mentioned 2023 was your best year, and then you beat it last year in 2024. And it looks like you're on track this year to do even better. Now, what are some of the unique challenges and opportunities that come with building that kind of the kind of market share that you have in such a purpose-driven space?
I think our big, we had a dinner earlier this week, and I think my biggest struggle is scaling. I don't think we're having a hard time getting business right now. It's like when to push on the gas and let off, just so we can kind of grow. Because I think that's what happens with a lot of companies in the mattress industry, is a lot of times they get too big, too fast. And then they've got, and sometimes they've got VC money to answer to, and investors and everything. And luckily we're still family owned, and Barry will jump out of his grave one day if we ever do anything differently. So, that really, I think the hardest part about running any business is finding the right people. It's not your product. It's you can, they can help you make a great product. It's finding people who are as passionate as you are about what you're doing, and that you take care of and have that drive. I think any great leader will be able to find something in everybody that makes them an asset to the company. Sometimes you can't, sometimes there is that, but largely we've grown. It's funny. It still surprises me today, but cut from 2021 is when I kind of took over everything. I used to have one direct report. And that was it. That was the only employee I had at my watch. And now, cut to 4 years later, I have 66 people who work for me. So, keeping track of all the day-to-day stuff and people's growth, and people are still human and life goes on. I've got 4 kids, and we're a very family-forward company. So if you're sick, stay home. We don't have a sick day policy. If your kid's sick, stay home with your kid. If your kid has a recital or whatever, like, go to your kid's thing. Like, we're not performing heart surgery around here. And it really does. It allows people to do the things that they're more focused when they come back, and they're happy to do it. Which is, it's a rare thing, I think.
Makes a big difference.
That's why, and then that's why they're gonna have to drag me out of here. I cannot go to the standard corporate world. I'm gonna die, or wither or die. So,
well, and that kind of corporate culture in the business, it always gets reflected in the brand. I think consumers and customers, they feel that when they engage with the brand and use your products. I mean, you've talked about how great customer retention and repeat purchases come with the business. Can you talk a little bit about how you grow that kind of lifetime value with your customers?
Yeah, I mean, luckily obviously we started with baby. I mean, there's no other better place to start from long time order value. We're getting when they're young, and it's really about education. I mean, a very good portion of our parents who buy our crib mattresses end up buying our kids' beds. And then once, as we're building on the education of, unfortunately, with 4 children, my kids are in my bed more than I would like them to be. But, and that's, if you're willing to invest in an organic mattress for them, and they're like, my 4-year-old comes into our bed almost every single night at like 2 a.m. It's like clockwork. So he's there for 4 to 5 hours. So like half of his night's sleep is spent in our bed. So like we should theoretically, I mean, we have an organic mattress because I work here and I'd be talking on both sides of my mouth. So yeah, we have an organic mattress. And I think that's when parents are starting to realize, like, maybe we can at least get organic sheets or an organic top or organic pillows. And more often than not, they're just flat out getting organic mattresses too. And then if those kids were introduced to those things when they were younger, I mean, we have some customers now who our kids' beds were bought for them when they were little, and now they're actually coming up to the age where they're buying crib mattresses now for their own babies.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's the joy of being around for 22 years. But as long as you're doing the right things and making sure that you're authentic as a company, obviously there's economic headwinds that everyone has to face. I mean, this company was started in a recession, so we've got that going for us.
Yeah.
But I think the growth will come as long as you stay authentic to yourself. I think when people start to like try and get too tricky, they try and like step out of their comfort zone. That's why like we are always going to be very bedroom focused. We're not trying to be like a green brand where like we're trying to dip our toe into everything. We do mattresses very, very well. Yeah. It's not our thing and never will be our thing. And 'cause you lose sight of what you're good at that point in time. So we're not trying to be this conglomeration of all these different things for home. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned earlier how you're up to 30 stores. How much of that growth was after COVID? And how did that impact your sales channels from being direct to consumer to focusing on stores?
We've almost doubled since COVID in terms of that retail landscape. And it's been a fun ride. I'm glad we took a little bit of this year we opened up Nashville, and that was the only one that we've done in 2025. Last year we opened up 8 stores. I was gone a lot, which my wife was not very happy with. But no, 54% of mattress customers want to start their journey in a store. So it is pertinent to be omnichannel in that sense to get things started, because you're literally missing half of your audience. They just will refuse to buy from you no matter what you do, unless you have some sort of a retail footprint, whether it's your own stores or you're working through other retailers. And it's been very successful for us. Every time we open up a new store, we see a 10 to 15% lift in that overall geographic area on our website. Just creating that, because obviously we're pumping more into marketing and everything, but and it works well. And we're starting to see in our stores, some of our legacy stores, where they're starting to build too, just like they would be in their own business. You start off a little bit quieter, but the more return customers you get, the more referrals you get. We're actually doing a lot of activities in our stores now and events, which has actually been very, very helpful for us. We definitely want to feel more of like a part of the community. We do a lot of stuff specifically to our cities. We do environmental cleanups. We give to charities in those cities too, because we want, when people think about mattresses, we want them to think about us, and it seems to be working.
And you also distribute through other retail channels and other retail stores too, correct?
Correct. Yeah. We're within Raymore, or not. Oh yeah. We're on Raymore and Flanagan. We're on Restoration Hardware, Pottery Barn, Target, Amazon, which is, it's the devil everyone has to deal with. It's kind of like Google.
Yeah.
It works. I mean, it's, I'm guilty of it. We probably, at least with 4 kids, and we live in a fairly rural area, I've got a package showing up probably every single day to my house from Amazon. I would die if we didn't have Amazon, I'll be honest.
Yeah. It's very much like our house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Naturepedic is a leader in certified organic and non-toxic mattresses. But what does that organic mean in this space? And how do you educate consumers on that value?
Luckily in 2025, it's becoming less and less like the Wild West. I would say probably a decade ago was the worst it was ever been because people are like, ooh, green, organic. I'm going to start a company and lie through my teeth or, to the best of my ability, try and do whatever to try and capture customers. And, we're very stringent and we always have been on our certifications. Those, if you're buying any product, whether it's an organic mattress or not, look for certifications and do research on those certifications because there's a lot of fake ones out there too, unfortunately.
Wow.
There's no certification police. So our product is and our factory is GOTS certified, which is the Global Organic Textile Standard. And what that means is 3 times a year, they have a third-party verifier that comes to our factory. They pull a mattress off the shelf, and we have to tell them what farm that cotton came from and what crop that cotton came from. And they trace that from the time that seed was planted to when it finally showed up in Naturepedic's factory.
Wow.
To make sure that it was unfussed with start to finish.
Yeah.
And then it's easy to buy like certified organic cotton and just wrap it around whatever you want. And then to kind of play like these word salad games where people are like, oh, that seems well enough. And it's just not because you have no idea what you're actually buying.
Yeah.
The mattress industry, it's funny. I used to be in the metals industry before this and I did that for 5 years and it was so cutthroat and it just was not for me. And it was like very down and dirty, the metal trading game. And I thought like, oh, organic mattresses, baby mattresses. This is going to be great. And, and you pull the curtain away and there are 100 different chemicals that go inside of a mattress.
Wow.
And some of them are formaldehyde, which people commonly known as embalming fluid, cyanide, antimony, flame retardant chemicals, which are known carcinogens.
Yeah.
And the list goes on and on and on. And we don't put a single one of those in our mattresses. And I will say one thing about Naturepedic. Since day one, our big tagline internally and externally is just no compromise. And even if something is easier, faster, cheaper, and even if the verifications and certifications get watered down, we just refuse to do so. We've always gone above and beyond. We can use glues or adhesives in our products, and we choose not to. It takes twice as long to make one of our mattresses because we choose not to use glues and adhesives. Instead, we use kind of like a round staple. It's called a hog ring. And they individually go around and secure all the certain pieces within this mattress so we don't have to just lather it with glue. So, but that's, I think, what sets us apart from the rest of the industry and why the mattress industry in general right now is down like 12.9%. We're very easily into the double digits with our growth this year again.
Yeah, that's impressive.
We're actually farther ahead percentage-wise than we were in 2024. I set a goal for us, which ownership was very happy that they thought it was a little ambitious of like 2027. I set a goal for us as a company. We're probably going to hit it by the end of 2026. So, I mean, I look like a rock star right now, so I will take it. So it's been great. I walk around here like I'm trying to like keep the size of my head in checks.
Yeah.
Where do mattresses go?
There are about 50,000 mattresses that get thrown away almost every single day. Oh. And it's 18.2 million every single year. And that number keeps growing. It's probably, and that was a couple of years ago, it's probably closer to like 20 million at this point.
Insane.
And it is trying to get things recycled and everything. We're doing our part. We try and donate to charities when possible, so those mattresses can see a second life. And for any of our returns, which is still very low for the industry in general. But the sad statistic of 50,000 mattresses per day and 18.2 million per year that's enough to cover the state of Kansas by a third. And that if you laid them end to end, that's how many mattresses end up getting thrown away. It's a lot of land. Yeah. So we're very happy with our lack of environmental footprint overall. We're trying to get ourselves to like being a zero waste company within the next year. And we're well on our way for that.
It's incredible. I would think coming in that mattress business is very niche, very small, low lifetime value, but 50,000 a day, if they're going out, that means they're also purchasing.
Yeah.
And it's a very specific destination. So it's very interesting. Was not my expectation. I don't think I thought about a mattress until I really started hearing about all of these direct to consumer brands. I'm like, the mattress business, really? I had never even thought about it. And the more you kind of dig into like what those businesses look like and then hear about your business, it's wildly different. And it's a market that I didn't even consider.
It really exploded after, 2018 was kind of like the catalyst for the bed in a box industry.
Yeah.
And that was really what exploded, because now you're having like 180-day return policies, 365-day return policies, which I think is absolutely ridiculous to have a 365-day return policy. If you haven't figured out you like it in a year,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
nobody's
something
gonna
wrong
make you
there.
happy.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. Nothing's going to make you happy. Yeah.
Well, and the problem with it too is it became, people were basically showrooming in their own bedrooms.
Right.
And there's instances where people are trying to buy. We've had people come to our stores before and they're like, you guys are the 6th mattress company that I'm looking at in the last month. And they're like, oh, I just returned all the other ones. That is literally 6 or 5 mattresses prior to even coming to us that are now God knows where, probably in a landfill. Right. And that's just one customer. Yeah. So any like buying a shirt, and that's why having like a retail footprint is huge, because it ultimately really cuts down on our return rate in general, because people are able to touch it, feel it, smell it, whatever, inside of a store, and they feel a lot more comfortable with that purchase, and they know what they're going to end up getting.
Yeah. You got to do some target marketing over here in New York, because I don't know anybody that would go through the trouble of returning a mattress in Manhattan and having to deal with getting it out of your apartment. You finally got it in.
Well, it's nice. New York is a great market for us. We have a Manhattan store, and we have one over in Brooklyn as well. And you're 100% right. And I mean, I'm not taking a mattress up and down a 5th floor walk up. So
I'm not even returning a lamp that I bought, because I'm like, I have to get in the Uber to go to the post office to wait 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what?
It's an ordeal.
I'm putting it out on the stoop. Somebody will enjoy it. Take the lamp.
I like to visit New York, but living there, hats off to you. I can't do it. But I mean, it's absolutely an amazing town. But you're right. I mean, it's not feasible for those that. But our EOS mattress is really cool in the sense that it was designed for some of those things in mind. I mean, you have some very narrow stairways and hallways and corners and everything else in these very old buildings, and they're trying to stack you guys in like sardines. And
business that cuts your couch and then puts it back together once it's inside your apartment.
I've heard of that. They're getting creative. Yeah. But our EOS mattress actually fully comes apart. So like you can actually take each piece up the stairs, and if you ever decide to move, you can actually unzip everything and put it back together in your next 5th floor walk up somewhere else. So.
Well,
or move out of the city. I don't know. So.
There's always that option. I don't think you'll get Casey out of the city, though.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. So on that point about that kind of product innovation. So you mentioned before, like when there was that turning point when the whole mattress in a box became a thing, and we saw so many direct-to-consumer mattress brands just pop up out of nowhere around that single innovation. How do you look at product innovation? Because you've mentioned how you're really focused in the bedroom. You're not trying to have products throughout everyone's entire home. You're very focused in that area. How do you look at product innovation? And is there an example of maybe a recent launch that you could share that really worked for your customers and brought out something new that they weren't buying from you before?
Yeah, we had 2 things. The biggest one, I think, was probably our pillows. It was really, I wouldn't say it was like an afterthought, but it wasn't short of that necessarily. It was like we had 2 kinds of pillows in like 2021. And then we introduced another one the following year, and people were like, yay, do more. So not everyone sleeps the same. Not everybody types the same either. And we really wanted to put out a stellar product that people really bought in, because what we were finding is there's like a direct correlation. If you don't have an amazing pillow, people generally they equate that to having a bad sleeping experience. So for one, it actually brought our return rate down. But 2, it actually allowed us to be able to kind of curtail our business to a specific customer of like, here, we have a side sleeper pod pillow now. We have a body pillow now. We've got wool, we have down, we have 3 different kinds of shredded latex pillows. And what that's done, expanding out on that product line, our pillow business has actually grown by 300% in the last 2 years. just because we've put more offerings out there. And I'm very glad we came to the end result of what a good pillow was and what wasn't, because I had 47 pillow prototypes in my house at one time. My kids loved it. They loved it. But we really just wanted to put out a really, really good product. And we're looking at everything else that was on the market. And just like we do with our mattresses, we wanted something that we can put our stamp on and feel great about putting out in the marketplace. And the customers have responded. And I think the same thing goes with our bedding, which my marketing team is so excited about. We were a sea of white and beige for years. That was it, white and beige.
Yeah.
And
it's my color palette.
I'm more of an earth tone. So, but yeah, we have so many, and we have another launch. It's coming later in the year. And last year, I mean, our sheet bedding business just absolutely exploded because people actually had choice now. And, to fit their own style. And we had an introduction of a lot more fabric types too. I mean, we've got French flax linen. We've got Supima cotton that's launching soon, which is really exciting. It was actually grown on a Native American reservation in Arizona. And so we're excited about that launch. But our sateen and percale, we went through 17 rounds of choosing new fabrics for our bedding because we just wanted something that everyone felt comfortable with. And oddly enough, for anyone listening, again, whether it's, I mean, I hope it's Naturepedic sheets, let's be honest, but if it's not, what we found is everyone's like, I mean, ever since like the 90s, it was like, ooh, Egyptian cotton. Like everyone had this, like, it was amazing. And a very high thread count. And the problem with the very high thread count is it actually read a little bit rougher, to be honest, and it doesn't breathe because it has such a tight weave.
Right.
So if you're a hot sleeper, do not buy a high thread count. We actually found between like 300 and 400 is absolutely perfect for any sleeper. It's got the right amount of softness. It breathes perfectly. It's got a good weight to it. And it actually holds up well over time too, because you're not dealing with tinier threads now. So that is, for us, that was the perfect thread count. And it took 17 rounds to figure that out, and a lot of people looking at this stuff, but we're very proud of that. And I think putting that time and care to it, and it's not the fastest thing in the world. I think when you're trying to like rush something to market, you're going to get rushed results, and those are ultimately not going to be what you're hoping for. If you really take the time to really go through the role of, I just don't like this. Like I read something the other day about WD-40, the stuff they spray on nuts and bolts and everything. The reason for that name, it was like the 40th formula. They kept trying and trying until they found something that was absolutely perfect. And then it's just like
kind of like Chanel number 5.
It's just a household thing anymore. Like you just have to go through these rounds where you feel as a business owner and everything else, like this is what I can put my name on and feel good about. And it pays off in dividends. So.
When you do these iterative product designs, are you testing these out all internally, or do you have like a customer base that you go to that you trust you want their opinion and feed that back into the process? Or are you totally doing this in-house before you release that first one?
It's a little bit blend of a couple things. We will utilize, we have, a pretty decent sized workforce here too, but we're utilizing parents, brothers, sisters, moms within the team too, of trying to get an unbiased opinion. And when you tell somebody to be unbiased, they're as brutal as physically possible. You're like, gloves off, tell me how bad it is. And it's like, I didn't expect you to be that mean about it, but they will tell you. And it's honestly very helpful for us because it's like, we felt good about something. And then like the resounding opinion was like, this thing sucks. And I was like, oh, we'll probably go back to the drawing board then. So again and again and again and again. So it took a good chunk of 2022 and half of 2023 for those pillows, but we did it, and we're not sticking to our laurels either. Like we're looking at introducing some new stuff into the line and even making some slight improvements to the existing stuff because our company is owned by 3 engineers, which some days is the most annoying thing in the world. I'll be honest. But it is.
2 engineers and a salesperson, which that's also a lot of friction.
Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. So, but they're always tinkering, and I appreciate that about them because they're like, I think I can do better. And it's nice about it too is it keeps things fresh for us as a marketing team, because what it allows, and the sales team too, is we're not dealing with the same things all the time. If you made here's your widget, and that's the only thing you got, and you got that forever. Like, you know, at some point in time, like you're going to have very small incremental growth, but right now we have something interesting to talk about. It has PR value. It piques the interest of our existing customers. It's like, oh, this is new. Like I've been buying Naturepedic for a decade now. I would love to try that. So constantly innovating and changing has really been helping us propel our growth.
And you guys are Amish crafted and made in the US. So, I mean, those are some pretty significant claims to like the way you think about sleep and the way you think about building your company. How do you look at that customer experience when it's something so deeply personal like sleep?
Yeah, I think we're you know, trying to meet them where they're at. We have an amazing content team, and I think with what we're trying to put out for them is meeting the customer where they're at. What are their concerns? And we're not trying to, I think sometimes, and it's smart, but I don't think it's everlasting, is you come up with a fake problem or a perceived problem, and you're like, I got the thing that's going to fix it for you. And that may work for a little bit of time, but you know, you're not going to get a lot of repeat business. So for us, we meet our customer where they're at, and what are your issues when it comes to sleep? Are you sleeping too hot, or does your back hurt? And then I think equating all that to the handcraftedness that goes into our product. We have a guy that's actually working with us this week, a consultant for some training stuff that he's doing for our stores, and he's worked with some mattress companies before, and he's been in a ton of factories, and being Amish crafted, he was like, I've never seen anything like this before. He's like, everywhere I go, it's nothing but robotic arms and laser cut this and computer that. And it is fairly rudimentary in the best way, where they're still working with like wooden hand tools in some instances to make our mattresses. Yeah. And I don't want it to be where it's like, it's not the Keebler factory out there, I'll tell you that much. But
no, I mean, I find great value in that. Yeah. You know, I love handcrafted products. I value the talent, the craft, the work, the labor, and like the talent of like that training. So, I mean, it goes a long way with me on my perceived value, because that immediately increases it, because that's something that I definitely want to support. I love products made by people.
Yeah. I mean, if you were getting like, you know, what we're trying to get away from is, and I think the rest of the world is in a lot of ways, is fast fashion. I think we're going back a little bit in the sense that I think people have gotten a little tired of all those things where they're made unethically in a lot of instances and very cheaply. And it's probably going to last you like 5 or 10 wears maybe. But you know, the older you get, you appreciate things more. It's like, I'm going to get a jacket for you know, work or whatever. Like, I'm going to have it tailored to my fit. Right. And I know it's going to be done extremely well. And like, then there's the little chalk lines and everything's being measured out perfectly. And I know that thing, when it gets to me, it's if I take care of it well, it's going to last me probably a decade or two, as long as it stays in style. But that's the point of, people are willing to put more money into things that they know are handcrafted. Yeah. And that's why I think our business is continuing to grow.
Mattress. And I mean, you know what? Let's just talk about that for a moment for all of our listeners. How often are you supposed to replace your mattress?
Well, generally every 8 to 10 years. We do have a 25-year warranty, but for a lot of ones that you would suspect and a lot of ones that are gross that you might not suspect are good reasons to want to replace your mattress. I will tell you this much, your mattress weighs more when you throw it away than when you first bought it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I could have gone without knowing that.
Well, now we've learned something today.
Happy sleeping tonight. So
give me one more additional reason why we're thinking we need to replace our mattress.
Well, you know, maybe you'll gather the strength to huff it down your staircase now in New York City to the sidewalk. So it's just a thought of sleeping on it at night. But no, but ours stand the test of time. Our crib mattresses do have a limited lifetime warranty. That is one thing we've always been very liberal on, in the sense that even if it's 8, 9, 10, 12 years down the line, if there is something wrong with that mattress, if it made it through like 3 kids, and again, I have 4 kids, they're abusive to just about anything they get their little hands on. So Barry and Jeff and Jason, they are, again, another reason why it's just great working here is They could be a lot more hardlined about it and just like, no, you got to pay for it, or no, that's not whatever. They just want to make babies safe.
Yeah.
So if, you know, the thought of like having a parent, just because they don't have another option, put their baby on one of our mattresses, it might not be up to snuff anymore after 3 kids in 10 years, they'll just replace it. And they're very proud to do that because you know why? It is, that makes a customer for life.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going to tell everyone about that.
Right.
And they're going to remember that.
Right.
So when it comes time to buying another mattress or buying sheets, you know, who else would you rather buy it from yourself or buy it from another company, or the company that took care of you in your time of need and didn't hassle you about it?
Yeah. You'll
Word of
remember
mouth
that.
is still the highest converting, longest lasting marketing that anyone can do. And it's much less expensive.
Oh yeah. A couple of years ago, we had our furnace replaced, and it's a local company, and I won't blast them nationally, but anyone here in Cleveland, if everyone's like, oh, I'm going to get my air conditioner, I'm like, don't use these guys. It was a very terrible experience, and they tried to like gaslight me. And I mean, there was many reasons why I would never, ever use this company again. And here we are. I got that done actually in 2017. It is 2025. And I will say that to my grave. They're a terrible company until they go out of business. So,
those feelings always last long.
Everybody knows that I love a product.
That's right.
Exactly.
I have a bad experience. Everyone
knows.
About this experience.
Yeah. It's those extreme conditions, right?
They are.
You always remember the extreme conditions, whether good or bad. And that's what you keep telling everyone. That's what influences your next purchase decision. So I think very much makes sense. If you're building for lifetime value, that totally makes sense.
Keeping the values forward is definitely, I feel, a de-risking business strategy, and definitely can help drive more revenue than being mediocre also.
Yeah.
We've had some instances the last couple of years where, I mean, our customer service they are a big reason why we've been who we are. I mean, customer service is so lost on any industry at this point. I mean, you get that right and everything else will fall into place. And we've had people where they want to return their mattress. We don't hassle them on it. It's like, okay, we just need XYZ information. Boom, done. We're going to have it come picked up for you. And they're like, wow, it was that easy?
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to like gaslight them or force it down their throat.
Right.
And we've had them like, hey, this wasn't for me, or maybe it was a different mattress. I'll try again. And they're like, we've had referrals from people who like, hey, my girlfriend bought your mattress. She said it wasn't for her because it was just her Princess and the Pea situation, or it just wasn't like, whatever. And she's like, she just sung your guys' praises about how great
it was a great experience.
Workhorse. It was a great experience. And we've gotten orders just from that simple fact. So,
amazing.
You're going to take your lumps, but, trying to turn those into positives where you can, that'll make you break you as a company.
Yeah. So I want to come back for a minute to product itself. So the fact that you are an organic product and you look closely at not just saying that it's organic, as you mentioned before, like it's not just a veneer of an organic layer in a product, it's throughout the whole product itself. That really speaks a lot to the sourcing of raw materials that you're using, right? To both avoid the chemicals that you mentioned before, that other mattresses use. But let's get to the more pointed question of the year, because it's on everybody's mind this year. You probably source, I'm guessing, those materials from all over the world. So how are you looking at the potential impact of new tariffs this year and how that's going to impact your sourcing?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, hopefully some of these things are starting to get settled out. I think largely for any company right now, there is still so much uncertainty. And I mean, honestly, even when there is certainty, like tomorrow, maybe not. I don't know.
Sure.
It's but luckily it's not hurting our business at this point. But we're not trying to pass that along to our customers. We're going to try and eat it where we need to, and maybe source differently if it makes more sense in those instances. But bottom line is, with us being an American company, and we are American made, we're doing all of our finishing here in the United States, and we have a very, very busy factory, but we're buying a lot of these components from overseas that just frankly are not made here in the US.
Right.
And, we are, in a lot of ways, because these tariffs now, which I wish there were exemptions for, we are having a growing American workforce, which the current administration is like, that's what we want.
Right.
That's what we're trying to do. So like, we're also getting kind of pushed back a little bit in the sense that now I have to pay more for my raw materials. And luckily we are not in this position, but like with other companies, like maybe I don't hire as much anymore. Maybe I have to lay some people off. Maybe I don't market as much before. So my business is just going to be stagnant until maybe this changes. And I think we aren't the China thing too. It was people really didn't care as much, I guess, but now it's like, where are you getting your stuff from? Because they're trying to preemptively figure out if you're going to raise your prices.
Right.
I think with the tariffs that got announced for like August, I mean, frankly, I think I'll be honest, it feels like you're pissing on my head and telling me it's raining. Because now we're at 55%. And cost of goods are going to go up. I mean, we were at 30 for a little while. Now it's went up another 25%. So where is that coming from? That is not, China ain't paying that. I'm paying that.
That's right.
You're paying that. So that's where all that's landing. And, we just, at the end of the day, we want to make a great product and make it as affordable and accessible as possible. And I will say, just another, I kiss their ass when they're here and I do it when they're not here, but ownership, they're great guys. They really are. Obviously they want the business to grow and we're all excited for that to happen. But, Barry specifically, I don't know if that man knows that he's got $10,000 or $1 million. Like he just wants to watch this company grow. So every single dollar that we make as a company either gets put back into us or growing the company. And they're not looking to make all these shifty changes to really line their pockets. They're very humble people. And that's why I think we're going to continue to grow as a company. Is there'll be a time to be greedy, and they know that, and we know that, and I'll be greedy too. It's human nature, but doing without has been the greatest thing that's ever happened to Naturepedic in the sense that they're all not trying to make $1 million a year. Every single dollar goes back, like I said, into the company and, product and innovation, and not skimping on the materials and everything. Frankly, they would rather just not do it altogether than half-ass it. And, that's a beautiful thing. It really is.
I think we've had, in the last 5 years, we've had these great lessons in retail and commerce for the general public to learn about supply chain with COVID, now learning about tariffs. And I think with this, it's a painful education process to start learning and paying attention to tariffs and what supply chain is, and making yourself aware of where your product comes from and how it's made. That I think that I agree with you when you had mentioned that there is kind of a shift that's happening where we do have an authentically engaged, more conscious and educated consumer. And I think that will only serve more brands that make premium products over time for the long run. Regardless of the pain today, I do think that having the consumer be aware and learn these things will only help our industry.
Yeah, no, I think just being true to yourself. We're not trying to be altruistic. We're really just trying to educate people of what's out there in the marketplace. And Barry, our founder, and I have to go myself, which is a weird torch to pick up. But Barry's been to Capitol Hill before. I have to go in September to speak on Capitol Hill, and we're just trying to get educating our lawmakers into what's happening within the environment, to consumer goods, to all these things that they can help be a part of to ultimately help their constituents out. And so I guess the point of telling that story is we're not just trying to put out a great product and be authentic about it. Like Barry is instilled in a lot of us too, is like trying to invoke change across the board. And, I think consumers are waking up to that. And, again, we're not trying to create this marketed hippy dippy lifestyle where people wake up in the morning and it's did you see that thing that was big for a couple weeks ago where the guy had the Saratoga water bottle or whatever, and it was great marketing for Saratoga water, the big blue water bottle, but the guy woke up at like 4 a.m. and he did push-ups and then he put the water bottle. I have 4 kids, man. I wake up, my back hurts.
That's right.
I'm pissy. Like nobody's doing push-ups in my house.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we're not trying
You're
to
not getting
treat-
woken up. If you're getting woken up at 4 a.m, it's not because you have a desire for push-ups. It's because you've got a kid who's waking you up.
Yeah, I got a foot in my face. That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of the like marketing strategies today, I mean, you have so much that you can really wrap a story around. What is your perspective on AI? What's happening with search? Are you guys, I'm sure you're on Baby Talk, TikTok. What are you finding is the behavior that's kind of shaping this product development and marketing strategies? Because we have so much more access to our customers now than we ever did.
Yeah, no, AI, I think, provided it doesn't bite us in the ass and they come and kill us in a couple of years. I can say I was one of those people. I saw the note or the article about how Sam Altman was like, stop telling AI,
Stop saying
please
thank you.
and thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because I just wanted to be known. It was stupid, but it was like, if they come, like I want them to know I was polite. Don't take me.
I was nice to you. Don't take me.
I was nice to you. Yeah. I stopped doing that. So I guess I'm fair game now. So, but no, it is from like just the simplest things to creating the framework to an SEO blog to where like we're able to like churn out more content. And we have an amazing writing team, but it really just helps like, here's the building blocks and go expand on all of it. And it really does, it creates this like, I think block that you're having, whether it's writing or imagery or planning, and AI is able to take, as long as you prompt it the right way, takes like hours and hours of work and it's like that.
Yeah.
It's done. And like we've done a lot of hiring. I've done AI generated job descriptions. I put in like a couple of prompts and boom, it's done. And it's specific to our company. I might have like 1 or 2, 3 changes in there, but it's done. It saved me probably over an hour or 2 of work of like trying to shape out what I was specifically looking for. And, even though we're an organic company, we've definitely adopted all of it. I think there are pros and cons, but I think there was an article not too long ago. They said like how bad AI was for the environment, but using AI for an hour takes up less energy than watching Netflix for an hour. So, and people are like, there's literally billions of hours of Netflix being watched.
Right.
So I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I wish they would do, honestly, is if I had run one request to the AI community would be anything, and this is for the artists, the creators that are like, my son is a musician and he plays like 5 different instruments. And he's like, in a couple of years, you're going to be able to type in and make me an album of like that's similar to such and such and such artist. It's done. And he's like, where's the creativity? And he's also a painter too. And like, yes, you want to have a physical representation to it, but if they can have like a watermark or a warning or whatever, like these things are not real or these were computer generated, I think consumers generally would probably, you're going to have people who will flock to it. But I think overall, like you are going to want to be supportive of real human things.
Right.
Yeah.
And but it does, like for an ad, if you have an AI generated ad and we didn't have to pay $60,000 for it to do it. Like, I mean, there is the advantageous part of that, but there is always going to be a place for real life photographers. And we have an in-house videographer here in Naturepedic. And there's a lot that we still doing this every day. He's just pointing and shooting. There's no computers involved. He's just pointing and shooting. So
no, the human touch and the craft. I mean, I just hope everyone that's working with AI really focuses on automating the things that we don't like doing so we can just do more of the things that we love, like the good stuff.
Well, and I always think too, when we talk about the creativity part, like you were just mentioning, Arin, I think, how does the AI know how to do these things? Well, it's because someone trained it right on the creativity of other creative masters, essentially. And for human beings, that creativity often takes time to develop. And so there are people who are, even in advertising or videography, photography, right? There are people who have 15 years experience, right? And who know how to do things differently than someone who's just starting out. And to get to that 15 years means that you have to always have a supply of new people coming into the field, right? And developing that same experience. So I think when we think about, is AI going to take that away? Well, if it did, then there won't be anyone new for the AI to learn from down the line. So I think there's
Where
still
there's
always
nothing
going to be a
feeding it,
need for
right,
those
right.
humans.
Yeah.
We still need the humans to keep doing things because the AI has to learn from somewhere. So hopefully that means we'll be safe.
Maybe we can figure out an AI to get stuff up and down from your apartment stairs for you in New York City.
There's something you want to automate.
Yeah, we could automate
something
that.
To automate,
that would be a real world use case.
That's right.
That.
There you go.
But yeah, I know you're 100% right, and I think it needs that human interaction. And I think largely, I think there's apprehension that will keep it from being so much a part of. I mean, it's definitely gotten it's weaved its way around, but I think there's some things that people are just going to be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right.
What's weird is AI has been such a conversation for the last 2 or 3 years, but I feel like VR was like a hot thing a couple years ago. And that's like almost all but gone away at this point. Yeah. They had all those like fancy headsets and whatnot. And I know Meta was building this entire VR world. And
it's still baking. It's in the oven. Yeah. It's still baking.
Yeah, it just takes some time.
I don't even like wearing these. This is like a new thing and I hate it. I don't know how everybody deals with it. I'm like, I've lost like 12 pairs. I don't want to wear glasses. I don't want to wear smart glasses. I don't want to wear goggles. Like, this is not it.
If they could have it where they could be like AirPods, I saw, and I don't know use them, but I saw like the Meta AI glasses the other day, which I think in a real world case it opens up lines of communication where you're in a different country and it picks up the language and then it translates for you right in your ear. Yeah. Like for me, I wish I would have paid so much more attention to remedial Spanish so bad. And cut to 20 some years later, it's like I would kill to be able to learn Spanish. But it kind of bridges those gaps a little bit more. So I do see where there is use cases for it. It's just
absolutely. So Arin, to kind of close us out here, one last question for you. What advice would you give others and any listeners we have are in a position where they're trying to grow a values-based brand like you've done with Naturepedic in a competitive retail environment? What would be your top advice for them?
I had a podcast that I had a couple of weeks ago, and it's the same advice I usually like to give is, I think, especially if you're a value-based brand, is one, don't sell out. That your customers will sniff that out in a heartbeat. But two is like when I took over the helm entirely, I mean, I've been here for 11 years. When I took over everything 4 years ago, I made it a big, strong point to focus on doing good in the world. And it resonates well with our employees. I feel great about it. And our customers just like, that's who they want to give their money to. It's who I want to give my money to. And it pays off. Like, I don't have to have this giant, get a good PR company and do some good in the world. And that will help propel your business, because that's how I'm going to ultimately purchase. And I know your customers would too. And it's going to be the deciding factor of you or the other guy. If they know that, like, I make a purchase and you're going to go out and feed the homeless with it, or do a environmental cleanup, or support something that's trying to do good in the world, that ultimately pays off in spades. And for us, I mean, in the last 4 years, we had one down quarter in 2019. It was the only down quarter we've had in our 22 years in existence. Wow. Yeah. But most of that has been like low single digit or even low double digit. But the last 4 years alone, because we really, really made a focus on that, we're not taking these baby steps anymore. We're taking these giant leaps as a brand, and we're not going to change anything. I mean, what we're doing now, we'll just double, triple, quadruple down on how we do things around here.
And there's been quite a few like natural disasters that you guys have been responded to. So over that 4-year period as well. So your business is still growing and you're giving more. You've been giving more as well.
Yeah, no, we're very proud to do it. And it's like I said, I have 4 kids to think about. And at the end of the day, I want them to be, let's be honest. I mean, if you have kids, you want them to be proud of you. So, hopefully one day, I mean, I have teenagers, they talk a lot of shit, but when they're adults and they finally appreciate me again, I hope that they can look back at my career and want to do something in the same vein. Exactly. And kind of, you always want to, as a son too, you just your dad proud too, and everything. And it's just, it's really, if you really get down to nitty gritty, money's great. Money's a great motivator, but it's only a short-term motivator. Yeah. And you really gotta feel good about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Well, Arin, this has been an incredible discussion. I know this is an episode Retail Razor listeners will be rewinding over and over to pick up some of these amazing insights and gems that you've been dropping about Naturepedic. If they're mattress shopping, I think you automatically make it onto the list.
I like to hope so. I mean,
heard so many good things about any mattress company before that I can really get behind. So thank you and keep doing amazing work. We're really excited to be able to share this story and this journey.
I won't let you guys down.
Well, thank you so much, Arin, for joining us today and for doing everything you do with Naturepedic. It certainly makes an impact. And just really quickly, if listeners want to learn more about the Naturepedic story, what's the best way you would direct them?
Yeah, you just go to our homepage. We also have a veritable library on our website of blogs and learning, and it's www.naturepedic.com. That's naturepedic.com.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's great, Arin. So, Ricardo, I think that is a close for this episode.
It is.
If you enjoyed our show, we have a simple ask for you. Please consider giving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Good Pods. Remember to smash that subscribe button in your favorite podcast player. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment. As always, a huge thank you to our amazing Good Pods listeners for helping us consistently rank in the top 3 podcasts for indie management and indie marketing charts with every episode. I'm Casey Golden.
Please follow us and share your feedback at Retail Razor on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram. And if you want to preview highlights and transcripts from each episode right in your email inbox, please subscribe to our Substack newsletter. I'm Ricardo Belmar.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep cutting through the clutter and stay sharp. This is the Retail Razor Show.